When we're physically not there at the home, for example, might be at work, might be away on that trip or whatever, do they know and understand what they're supposed to be doing?
And I'd ask the obvious question, hey, is that camera recording?
Yeah.
And they go, oh yeah.
Sure.
And then we'd go in and check, and that camera's dead. One of the things I think we forget to do is train everyone. Yeah.
You just have to hit it hard without breaking it. Should be enough to trigger the alarm. I've thrown my body against it. I almost dislocate my shoulder.
We forget to make sure that the loved ones know what to do and how to do it.
Yeah, you do that, I'll do the gorilla one, right?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, today we're going to be talking about protecting your loved ones after you're gone, and that could absolutely mean two different things.
Yeah.
But before we get into the segment, I would like to introduce James Kerr here.
Thank you.
He is the owner and founder of BOSs Security Screens. He's been around the game for a long time, and the unique thing about James, and the thing I love the most about him, is he is a problem solver. He came up with the idea for these screens, and correct me if I'm wrong, but
right.
You came up with this idea because you thought you could do it better. And you thought you could make improvements on existing products that were already out there, and that's exactly what you've done.
I could sleep so much better. It's very empowering.
We want to think about our loved ones when we're here and we're able to help them, but we also want to think about them when we may not be here and may not be able to help them. So
Exactly.
you're going to introduce yourself too, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So my name is Michael Johnston. I'm a retired police captain out of Henderson, Nevada, and I'm a current security expert. I do expert witness work. I do litigation support, and then of course I support people and help them with their security needs.
Right.
So
Perfect.
that's kind of a thumbnail version of what I'm doing right now. I do work as a spokesman and expert for you, which I do appreciate.
Chief security expert.
And that allows us to continue to address your customers' needs,
Right.
and help educate more people.
Yeah.
That's really the whole goal of these videos, is to help you, to educate you, and to open your eyes about some of the security options that are out there. In very simple and direct terms.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to talk about protecting loved ones after you're gone. And that, like I said at the very beginning, it can have two meanings, right? We can't be home every minute of the day.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that our loved ones, when they're at home, when we're out of the house, that they have a protection method, and that we've got some type of layered security system that protects them while we're gone. Makes
Security
us feel
screens.
better,
Yep.
and it makes
All the way.
makes everyone at home feel more comfortable.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, you bring it up, the security screens. That's really what we're here to talk about.
Right.
Your security screens are just short of amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the design, the construction. I remember when I first was introduced to you and your company, and I was so impressed with the quality of the product, the quality of your work. It's what made me want to be part of your company. And it's been great working with you on these things. So tell me a little bit about the screens, and then we're going to get into how that translates into protecting your loved ones.
Yeah, in short, layered security, smart security, that's what you mentioned just a moment ago. For ages, we've been building walls and building moats and domesticating dogs and things like that to keep all that bad stuff out. And that's exactly what security screens do. They provide a barrier. They fortify your home or your office or your school without making it look like a fortress. That mesh is stainless steel. I know it's hard to tell through the camera how tough it is, but believe me, I've thrown my body against it. I almost dislocate my shoulder.
I love that video, by the way.
Yeah.
As we talk about protecting people while we're gone, one of the things I think we forget to do is train everyone in the systems that you have. If you have small kids or even like teenagers, do they know how to activate an alarm? Do they know how to do a panic alarm?
Yeah.
Do they know the rules about answering the door? Because nowadays we've got so many people posing as one thing or another. They knock on your door, say, hey, we're here to do solar.
Right.
And they seem very unimposing.
Yeah.
But it's very easy to do that trick and ruse at a doorway. And so we forget to make sure that the loved ones know what to do and how to do it.
Right. When we're physically not there at the home, for example, might be at work, might be away on that trip or whatever, do they know and understand what they're supposed to be doing? Like we have a ritual. Before you go to bed at night, you always make sure everything's locked, right?
Right.
Not just the front door and the back door, but also like the window to the bathroom on the ground floor, right? We make sure we turn the lights on in the back of the yard, lights on in the front door, right? So what you're saying is there's like a protocol that we as a family have to secure our place, not only to make it safer, but also if there were an incident, what we should do in that event. Right?
Yeah, so teaching everyone the security systems that you have in place so that they understand what's there.
Yeah.
And in everyone's home, everybody's got a different layered system. Some people have just like an entry-level system, which is okay, right? It still has that deterrent effect. Reinforced doors, strong deadbolts. Right. Those are kind of that tier 1 level. Even door locks that stop the door from opening, say the lock is breached. Having them know exactly what they have in terms of layers of protection is important. The other thing is, how many times have you ever done a security audit?
That's a good one. Is the camera actually recording?
Yeah, I mean,
or does the alarm actually go off?
Yeah, are you checking these things? I mean, I don't know how many times as a law enforcement officer I responded out to a burglary or a stolen car or something like that, and I'd ask the obvious question, hey, is that camera recording? And they go, oh yeah.
Sure.
And then we'd go in and check, and that camera's dead. It probably hasn't been recording for years. And so part of that is making sure that you've got an audit. It doesn't take very long to walk around and make sure all your cameras are recording, that the lenses are clean. Test it, look at it. Your alarm system, check it, set the alarm, and then open a door. If it doesn't go off, then your alarm system isn't working properly. When was the last time you changed the batteries on your wireless systems? Guys, think about that. I mean, wireless systems rely on a battery and the Wi-Fi. And you got to make sure that those two features are working.
That's right.
Or you just have a system that's just there, but not operational.
Yeah, I love this idea too, but frequently we'll run into clients and they say, well, we don't have to worry about that opening because we have a brake sensor. And then I'll ask, well, when's the last time you tested whether it's a brake sensor works?
Exactly.
Right? And you know how to test it, right?
Yeah.
You just have to hit it hard without breaking it. Should be enough to trigger the alarm. But okay, we got it. We got to make sure
we got to do the audit.
Things we assume are in place, we test them periodically. What do you do at your home? Once every 6 months or so?
No, actually, I check my stuff monthly.
Oh, perfect.
I like to just make sure, and it's really not even that difficult because
that's why we have MJ.
everything's automated. I mean, nowadays, automation has made things so much easier.
Right.
Everything goes through your app on your phone.
Yeah.
If you can't see it on your phone, if you don't have the ability to pull that recording from your phone, then it's not working. And so with automation, that also adds that comfort level. Right now, remember, we're talking about our loved ones when we're away. Well, having that automated system, home smart systems, makes it so much nicer for the family, because there was actually a case where a young child was home and they went to go to answer the door, and it was just what we were talking about. It was a ruse. It was somebody posing, and the father was on the phone with the child at the time.
Interesting.
Heard the doorbell. The child was going to go to the door and open it, and he immediately activated the alarm system, the external audible, and the guy ran away.
Wow.
I mean, so when you think about the security and how it's advanced, you really need to also think about, how do you use that to your advantage, right? Yeah. We want to disadvantage the bad guys and give the good guys the advantage. And so technology and AI systems have made that so much easier. Now, let's talk about the other part of not being around when you're gone.
You mean like
when you pass away, when you go permanent nighttime, and we make light of that, but you think about it.
It's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, I mean, we all think that we have all this time, and I don't know how many times I ran into spouses that say their husband unexpectedly passed away. How many of your significant others know the codes to the house? How many of them know how to change the codes to the house? Do they know the combination to the safe? Do they know where all the security boxes are? And guns. We talk about guns a lot. Do they even know how, or is it biometric? If it's biometric, your thumb's not available anymore. So these are all things that we have to think about.
I think of it almost like a treasure map, right? So we're planning the treasure somewhere. We're going to pass away. So hopefully we don't anytime soon, but you never know, right? And so we create this treasure map for our family when things do go bad. And it could be we're still alive, but we're incapacitated, right? We could be in a hospital, we're unresponsive. They still need to do what they need to do, right? So we create this treasure map.
And so think about this. A lot of times your children are no longer living with you. Let's say, both you and your spouse pass away for unfortunate reasons. Do you have that legacy document that's going to tell the kids what those codes are, and do they know, and do they have access to all of those things? But also part of legacy security planning is, what have you put forward towards the financial part of security? Because there is a financial, and we're going to talk about this later in another segment, but there's always a financial component when we're talking about security. What are the costs of this security? What is the cost of maintaining it? And do you have you set aside any type of funds or even a portion of the trust to cover and address security related issues?
We have a really touching story the other day. We got an email from a client, and someone was trying to break into her home. And she was now living by herself. Her husband had passed away, and they didn't get in, but she wanted to let us know that the screens worked. And as we got to know her, we visited her place and spoke with her a bit more. She shared with us that her husband, who he knew he was going to pass away, maybe he was terminally ill, and they didn't have a lot of money. He started fortifying the home. He did it in 4 phases. And it wasn't a big home, it was a townhome. So they didn't really have the money on hand to do it all at once, but he really had foresight is really what we're talking about, and the sense, to think about.
Part of that is the record keeping and the documentation and making sure that you have all of that available should you unfortunately pass away. But what about the creating a network? This is kind of one of the last things I think we should talk about, is creating a healthy network of people that will also aid and secure that security that you're looking for. We talk about neighbors. I mean, do you have a trusted neighbor that's going to come and check on your home? Do you have somebody that is going to be aware of your spouse's needs if you're not around? So having a network of friends, family, that is also part of that legacy planning. If you have these things in place, so you've set aside money, you've got your network, you've got your records, you've passed it on, you've shared it with your children. If you're still alive and you're just out of the home, have you trained everybody? Have you done your security audits? If you're thinking about these things, then you really have done what we just set out to do. And that was to provide that security blanket for your loved ones.
To know they're safe.
To know they're safe. When we wrap this all up and we talk about that security, the one thing I love, and I say this all the time about your security screens, is it is really the all-in-one. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have secured every possible point of penetration into a home, short of coming through a wall, and not many people do that, but you've covered every door, window, and access point, you really do have that full blanket of security, and then all of the other layers support it.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
Until next time, we're going to wrap this up, and thank you for hearing us and listening to the podcast on how you can protect your loved ones when you're gone.